We're sitting in a 2016 Kia Optima. We're gonna be replacing the high pressure fuel pump. This one's gotten quite noisy and is leaking a little bit of fuel inside the engine. It's a pretty straightforward job. Because we're dealing with fuel, there's just a few precautions. First, we wanna wear glasses, and if you don't like smelly hands, we'll wear some gloves too. Let's get started. Our engine cover should just pop off. There we go, set that aside. Our high pressure fuel pump lives right here. We'll pull our noise dampener off. Maneuver it around. There we go. Electrical connector, pinch and pull. Perfect. We have two fuel lines, a flexible inlet line and a hard outlet line. We'll pull the inlet line off first with just a flat screwdriver. We'll pop on the side here. We'll release that tab and this whole thing should come off. There, just like that. Show you a little closer. That's it. And it's just snapped in. So you take a screwdriver, pop that off, and it unsnaps that little ring. Let me zoom you in a little closer to the fuel line connection. On the inlet line, you'll notice this metal collar and then a gray ring. The ultimate goal is to get that gray ring pushed all the way in against the collar. So we can push this line in, that'll help some, and then we can take our fingers and push that gray ring in the rest of the way, and then the whole thing can come out together. Let's do that. All right, we'll put our glasses on for safety. And I like covering this with a rag. That'll collect any spray. So we'll push this forward, grab onto that gray collar. Need a little screwdriver. There we go. Just to push that a little closer. Okay. There we go. Slowly back it off. Perfect. And we'll collect any of that fuel in the rag. Okay. Now let's get our hard outlet line. For that, we'll just need an open-end wrench. Let me move you so you can see. 19 millimeter does the trick. And again, we'll just put a rag over the top just to collect any spray. There we go. We'll just pull this off. All right, perfect. Now this metal line won't move back, but the pump will move in the opposite direction. For that, we have two 10 millimeter bolts. We'll pull those off next. All right, we will walk these off a little at a time. Just gonna keep a rag under here just in case. Get our bolts out. Lift this up. Perfect. Now there is a lifter inside we want to get out. Just use a magnet. We want to inspect it. There's a little roller on the back. We just want to make sure that that roller is good. It's not all scored up and the bearings are nice and solid. Then we'll peek down inside and make sure that our cam, because this rides on the camshaft, that the cam is also not scored or damaged in any way. Let me show you in the hole a little closer. The cam is easy to see right down in there. Just take a flashlight, look around. Because this rotates, the damage will be pretty evenly dispersed. So you don't have to crank the engine or anything to look over the entire cam. If it's damaged on one side, most likely it's damaged on all sides. All right, let's put in our new pump. We want to take the old pump and the new pump, line them up, make sure everything is the same. And then we have a new metal gasket, put that on. You may be able to use the old metal gasket, but getting a new one that's the way to go. A new metal gasket, and then we're gonna take a little bit of lubricant and lube up this O-ring. I like using just a little bit of silicone paste. Works really good as a lubricant. Just apply that on there. Perfect, rub it around. Nice, now we're ready to drop it in. We'll put the lifter back in. It is keyed, so it can only go in one way. It's nice for us. Just drop that in. We're also gonna wanna lubricate the end of this, just so it slides on to our pump nice and flush. Same here, we'll just put a little on here, just so it centers when we put it on. All right, we'll rub that around. Okay, slide that in. Perfect. Move this back, drop it down. Get our two bolts. Always start them by hand first. So just how we walked it off, we're gonna walk it back on. So a little on each side, a little at a time. Put this back on. Perfect. If I have a torque spec, I'll throw it on the screen for the two 10 millimeter bolts. I like putting just a little bit of silicone paste, and that'll help the O-rings on the other side just slide on and makes them happy. Put this on just until it clicks. Perfect. We'll put this around it. All right, last thing to tighten up is this. We'll throw a torque spec on the screen and then our electrical connector. Perfect. Let's start it up real quick and make sure we don't have any leaks coming out of either of our lines. We introduce air into the system So it will run rough at first, but it should clear itself up. Now we're just looking for any drips of fuel that we are nice and dry. Now we can put our covers back on. Put our noise insulator on. The square notch goes over our electrical connector, and this round notch goes over our front inlet line. Let's lift this up a little, drop it in. There. Perfect. Then we got our engine cover. If you want, you can put a little dielectric grease in these grommets. That'll help it come off easier in the future. Drop that down. Nice. Repair complete. All right, that is it. Pretty straightforward. Just use some caution working around fuel. Now, there are a few different ways these pumps can fail, but the most detrimental way is if it's leaking fuel into the engine. That will dilute with your engine oil and reduce its lubricating effectiveness. So if you let it go too long, you could cause damage to your engine. Some of the symptoms that this person was experiencing was a decrease in fuel mileage and rough starting first thing in the morning. Also, when you check your oil level, it may be over full or smell like fuel. So if you have any of these symptoms, check out your high pressure fuel pump. And if you need to replace it, I have parts and tools linked in the description. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you on the next one.